they remind you or give you notice or bring something to your attention so that it could have been preventative, or you could have done something to cut it off at the pass, or, you know, forestall it from progressing. You know, could have treated it while it was still treatable. You waited, you neglected, you forgot about it, you've shined it on, you put it off. You said, oh, I'll just do it another day or another year. It keeps going on like that every year. Oh, I'll get to it eventually. It's called procrastination. And sometimes procrastination can work in your favor, especially if it's an important decision and it's like, well, if you make a decision, it's going to have a drastic impact on your situation. But yeah, I wasn't reminded. Is it because they need more clients in their medical facilities, more patients in their hospitals? And what is it? I know they got to make money over there too. I know it's a big kind of a racket. I mean, I know there's science involved, and that's important, and I know they need to fund science with income and revenue. Science costs, if you want to get further along in our knowledge of it. And to come up with these treatments and strategies, and, you know, costs a lot of money to run these big hospitals. And, you know, the insurance contributes quite a bit to it. But, you know, sometimes the wealth is in jeopardy of drying up. And who knows how these layoffs in the federal government are going to work out. I mean, they're letting so many of these guys go that run these departments. I know it's trying to buckle up and to conserve money and to trim up on waste, to cut waste. But I'm hearing stories about innocent people going to be left hanging. They're not going to have help because I guess those agencies that were well funded aren't going to be funded anymore. So they're not going to be able to pay their patients to receive more medical treatments. Maybe they just have to go private. Maybe that's what's going on there. More private industry has to step up and take over. But you know how private industry is. It gets kind of expensive. Unless it gets competitive, unless you have a lot of competition, then prices will stay low because everybody starts squirming and they want your business so bad they're willing to reduce their prices to get more business. So they try to rely on high volume. So to make up for their low prices. So they have to do things in bulk. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of concerned about our future. But I'm just gonna hope that it's just a learning curve, because you know we're kind of stepping into uncharted territory, and of course uncharted territory you're gonna have some unknowns, and that's why what's happening right now is in our current administration we're finding out, you know, what happens when we do this or what happens when we do that, and so I guess we have to find out somehow sooner or later. You know, pushing the envelope, see, well, if I tweak this, if I readjust this, or if I add to this, what's it going to do? Sometimes you don't know for sure. You can predict, you can create an algorithm for it, you know, through AI and try to figure out with computers. But, you know, I'm sure there's still, it's not infallible. You know, the actuals have to be compared with the estimates. So, when you a salesperson, they give you a rough estimate, but that's all it is. Until you dig in and see what's really there, then it's like, oh man, that's gonna cost like 3 times what I bid it for, because there's always unknowns. You don't know what's underneath it or what's inside of it until you open it up. But we do have better technology now to where we don't have to touch it. We have infrared and radar and ultrasound, X-rays. So that really minimizes damage. If you can see what's going on before you open up the body, the carcass. But that's what they had to do in the olden days when they performed surgery. They had an idea they had a kind of a vague idea based on symptoms, but like the Egyptians, I'm sure they were pretty good. Even the ancient Egyptians were pretty good in their medical technology for where they were. But you can look at their tools. They have them in museums. They're kind of primitive. They definitely weren't, I don't know how they sterilized them with fire, I presume. But they didn't have, it wasn't, I don't know if it was chemically treated like, what they do now. They chemically treat and sterilize things with chemicals, super high heat. I don't know, maybe steam or something. But yeah. So, it's cool to see how much further we get along in our knowledge of medical science. Hopefully, they're saying, I just read an article that says that if we can hold on until 2030, people won't be able to die anymore. People will be able to live indefinitely. I don't know how, but apparently they can computerize our bodies to where anything that could possibly go wrong in your genetics or your genes, it can keep our genes from what do you call that, mutating. They can keep our genes intact and functioning correctly and computerized if we're all digital, if we're made digital. And think about it. If our DNA is made digital, so they say some say it's already digital from the original manufacturer, whoever they were, or whoever he was, or whether it be one singularity and maker, or if it was multiple makers that we had. Some say we had multiple makers, creators. Some say only one supreme being created us. So depending on who you talk to. But some say that, this has all happened by random chances, just voila, you have a complex life form with very complex systems, complex components and parts. And it just all happened by itself. And I don't believe it happened by itself. I definitely believe that there was engineering behind it. There was designing, there was planning, there was architecture, there was mapping. You just don't have complexity without forethought, without intelligence behind it. You can't put together an automobile unless there's thought there, construction plan, a layout, and how to build it, where to get the materials, and how to put it together, what kind of materials. It's interesting because according to the Bible or in other religious texts, it was all good instantaneously. There was no trial and error. Well, let's get this right because we obviously erred here in our calculations. But according to Genesis, the book of Genesis, God just brought it into existence like it was with power, with invisible power, which is amazing. He could cause bring in the actual components and elements into existence, and then form whatever make out of these elements and particles. But the interesting thing about it, these particles and elements aren't just, dead things or inanimate objects. It's living. We're talking about living systems. We're talking about living. All of our body is living. Each part. Our skin is living in of itself. Our blood is alive. Our organs are alive. Our veins, everything about us. We have these little creatures inside of us. You can't see them. You can't see them. You can't see them in our with our eyes, but you can see them underneath the microscope. Our bodies are full with these little entities, like these little germs, these little parasites, these little creatures. We all got them. We got them in our eyes, underneath our eyelids. It's kind of cool. I'd like to kind of look at it to see how many bugs are inside of our bodies.